And now a quick word from our sponsors here at Viral Hip Hop News.
Man here from Viral Hip Hop News, letting my people know to go grab this bottle of miracle food right now. Chakradoctor.org put together some of the best ingredients on God's green earth to help your immune system, give you a cleanse and reboot that your body deserves. Don't wait for your miracle. Grab it in Miracle Food right now. Let's go.
Go purchase the original crime drama series by Daniel Webb, The House of Lassenberry, The House of Lassenbery 1978, and The House of Lassenbery, A Time to Heal at Archway Publishing or wherever books are sold right now.
Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. I'm your brother, Old Guy from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting across from me is my co-host.
What up, y'all? It's your man, Sam, and CEO of Viral Hip Hop News, and you're in the building for a very special edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. We got a very special guest in studio this evening. We got the good brother and the author of the House of Lassenbery series, Mr. Daniel Webb, on the podcast. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good, brother. Everything's good.
Man, it's good. Good to have you on, man. Just to give a little backstory for the people who don't know, Mr. Webb hit me up a couple months ago now. I'm a fan of the podcast, a follower of the podcast, and definitely appreciate the support and definitely appreciate all the support that you've given us. It's a true honor being independent and doing what we do. But on a business level, you are an author. You said, hey, I want to work with you. I want to promote on your podcast. I want to promote on your platform. And we've been doing some great business. And then you said you want to come in here and get on the show. And I said, you know what? It'll be an honor, man. So it's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for coming on. How you doing this afternoon?
No, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Nice.
So, I had to write these stories, man. It was like bugged me for like almost 15 years. I'm a mailman from Bloomfield, New Jersey. I was born and raised in Newark. Live in East Orange right now, and been delivering mail for almost 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, take us back to that. Take us back to the early beginnings of Mr. Webb. In your bio, it says you were in the Desert Storm. You went in the war, but even prior to that, growing up in North Jersey, how was that?
It was compared to today, it was fun. It was like it wasn't a real sensitive time like it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like you had to be tough to live. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like people, you step on somebody's toes, they start crying or going to the cops or something. You deal with it. Right. So now it's a whole different ball game right now, man. I'm 50 years old now, and it's like it's a whole new world. Yeah. And, if you're 20 years old, it's normal to you, but you're my age, it's like a Twilight Zone. Right. Yeah.
So talk about getting into the military. Was that your choice, or did your parents kind of persuade you to do that?
It was my choice. I had to get out, man. I had to get away because I knew I would get in trouble.
What branch?
Navy. I was in the first Gulf War.
Really? Talk. I know a lot of veterans don't like to talk about their experiences, but how was that for you? If you don't want to talk about it, we can take it.
I'll talk about
okay, so talk about that.
I was 17 when I went in. I had to get my grandmother to sign because when you're under 18, you gotta have your parental, signature. So she didn't want me to go. Okay. And I had to get out because I was just working at a factory part time after school. I told my boss, I was like, I got to get out of here. He said that's the best thing. I got to go in the military. He said that's the best thing for you. So I said, I signed up. First, I signed up for the Marines. Okay. Didn't make that physical.
I heard that's hard.
I had to go to something less physical.
Shout out to the Marines out
there. Yeah. They ride with us. And so I went to the Navy and ended up on a, I went to boot camp out in San Diego. Okay. So it's three, from what I remember, it's 3 boot camps. One in Great Lakes, one in Florida, one in San Diego. Okay. So I went to one in San Diego. And after that, I got my first ship, the USS Normandy, as a guided missile cruiser. And it was a brand new ship. So when I'm called, like if you're a brand new person on a ship, you call a plank owner. Okay. So I was still in being built in Bath, Maine. So we went up to Bath, Maine. Damn. Yeah, and it was like, man, I'm gonna tell you, brothers up there, we movie stars.
In Maine?
Any boondock area, if you know what I mean. It's like, they put it like the Yardbirds don't like it, the locals don't like it. Right. So, we had fun up there. Then we got shipped down to Norfolk, Virginia. Then we did some more training. Then we went out to what you call sea trials out in the Mediterranean. Wow. And this was like at the beginning of the thing where Iraq was like about to jump off. And I remember we was in the Mediterranean and our captain got over the MC over the intercom. He said, "We just declared war with Iraq."
Wow.
And I was like 18 at the time. My heart was like, "This is real.
Yeah.
It's real."
Okay.
So we headed out to the Red Sea through the Suez Canal. And at that time, Saudi Arabia and Egypt didn't know whose side they wanted to be on. So they on both sides with their guns. We going through this little narrow stream of water, but they decided, they're going to join our effort. So after that, we was out there, and I was an engineer. I was down in the engine room.
Okay.
So I was on the firefighting detail too. So if anything caught fire, I was one of the first ones to get in action.
Okay.
But one night I was standing watch, and the guys, we call them cryptologists. They like the spies. They know what's going on.
Right.
So we hearing it like, we got a scud coming in.
Oh man.
So, but the thing is, like, should we call it in? Should we not call it in? And they called it, and they called general quarters. That's when you get to your battle stations.
Yeah. Okay.
So when it ain't like TV, when it really go down, everything like in slow motion for real.
Right.
I heard my heart beating, and but the thing, we did so much training. You knew by instinct where to go. You ain't had to think twice about it. So luckily for us, it didn't make it to us because they had the technology to get to us. But we shot off Tomahawk missiles to them.
Off the boat?
Yeah, and they sound like thunder. So they,
But they put like the everything's on and all that on the ship, or?
Well, if you inside the skin of the ship,
right,
you can hear it, but you don't need to.
Okay.
When you outside, like the weapon dudes, that they're out there, they got to put it on. It bust your eardrums.
Let me ask you this: what about the threat of submarines? Was that ever a threat for you guys, or is that kind of not anymore?
Not
with the technology. Oh, with Iraq with their technology. Okay.
Yeah, they ain't have they had the numbers and men, but they ain't had the technology like that's why it was so short of a conflict with them.
Okay.
So, it was mostly on ground with them. We got them, but they had the Scuds, and I think they had a couple of ships, but they had the technology. We're the most powerful Navy military in the world.
Yeah.
We can stop anybody in the water, anybody, and I've seen it.
Yeah,
we can stop anybody.
Let me ask you this: what was your going into the military? What was your thoughts on the military? And then are you out the military now?
Oh, I'm out. Yeah.
Going out of the military, what was your thoughts after that?
It's politics. It's all politics, man. It was like you got to deal with racism.
Okay.
I ain't saying you should let that deter you from being in there, but I did my time, and when I wanted, the thing was when I wanted to get out, it turned into a cult-like thing. You ever people that get in a cult when they're kids, they grow up and they want out.
Yeah.
Like the Scientology thing.
Yeah.
And they want out, and then everybody turns on you.
Right.
Everybody you thought was cool with you, officers, your buddies. What you getting up? What you gonna do? Sell flip hamburgers? And this? I'm like, I'm 18 years old. You just had me working on $1 million worth of equipment. Now you say all I'm good for is working at McDonald's for burgers, which I didn't do before I came in.
Right.
So it was like a mind play. And they offered me bonuses to stay, offered me schools.
Wow.
And I was sitting up to the XO. XO is the second in command of the ship. He sent me up to his stateroom. And he was trying to convince me to stay. And
wow.
I said, if you can get me somewhere in Jersey, I might think about it. He said, oh, it's the only place we're going right now is Mayport, Florida, I think. But it was a naval station in Staten Island. But it closed now. So, we had our time in Staten Island, man. We ran into the locals.
Oh, yeah.
Stapleton Projects.
Now, how long were you in?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did my time and did my last year in inactive ready reserve in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I did that, and they came to me and said, "You want to get out?" And then you signed a release form. I got out, got my honorable discharge, the whole nine. And
now, did you suffer any post-traumatic stress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 10%.
Okay.
Yeah. So
my dad's like 90.
Yeah.
Something like a 50, something like that.
50. Whoa.
I think. Yeah.
Wow, that's serious. Yeah. But I'm just at 10%. Well, it's like I suffer from insomnia because I only got we worked and drilled and trained 22 hours a day.
Okay.
And it's like your body goes into shock. So especially during the war, it's like you ain't get no sleep.
Right.
You did your job. You still guard.
Right.
And you had to train for drills. To get ready for a general quarters, you had to be ready less than 5 minutes. When we first started out, we was doing it in 20 minutes. And And the captain said that's unacceptable. So
Yeah.
we was doing it till we got it right. So you like
Condition yourself to do it.
you suffer from that because your mind is like, wired now. So yeah, I've been suffering from insomnia since then. So
Now, what year did you get out the military? About
90,
90s. Okay.
91, yeah.
Okay.
Now, you said in the beginning 15 years. You had this book in your head for 15 years. Did you have this book in mind while we were in the military as well? Where did it start? When did that begin?
It didn't start till I got to the post office.
Okay.
And I'm walking my route, and I'm like, well, the thing is, I'm a real history buff, especially on European history.
Okay.
And I did a I don't know if y'all know who she is, Rose Whaley. I don't know if y'all ever heard of it.
No.
She has her own podcast. I did it like 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I was telling her, I was wondering why like the European monarchs are celebrated, like Prince William, Prince Charles, and all. I'm like,
right.
why do they celebrate like celebrity? What did they do besides be born rich?
Yeah.
So what got to me was, why don't I make up an African American family that comes from the street but takes it to another level? Mm-hmm. Like if you see most of our blaxploitation movies and all our quote unquote ghetto movies, same old cliche,
Yep.
Sell drugs, redemption, tell kids say no, say no to the kids.
Yep.
But this ain't it.
Right.
I went to the next level where they went from drug dealing to royalty, actual royalty. And I was saying to myself, how can you, like say if you're a big time drug dealer, how can you be powerful? Like I'm gonna start like this. Like in my book, it's 4 types of people. They're regular people, they're influential people, they're powerful people, then they're the gods. And I believe there's more than one God. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking in a biblical sense, theological sense, or mythical sense.
Right.
I'm talking about tangible beings that's like behind the scenes running stuff that we don't see. They don't come on camera. They're not like the presidents, or they don't care for that. And I said, like to myself, like regular people are like people that get up, go to work, go to a job they hate, in a relationship they hate. Just do the same, go to work, go to school, go to a place of worship, rinse, repeat. They do the same thing and complain about life. Those are regular people. Mm. Then I say influential people, people like us, authors, content creators, athletes, actors, people that think outside the box. We're not powerful, but our third eye is almost open or is open. Then I say powerful people, that's people that are like law enforcement, heads of state, heads of government, monarchs of the world, people that we see in Fortune 500 execs that run the world, those are powerful. Then they're the gods. They make the powerful people who they are.
Right. So,
because when I watched the Bill Cosby thing and Harvey Weinstein thing and all that, I said, it ain't that they mess with these women, they piss somebody off.
Yeah, well, you
like
know that.
R. Kelly, same thing. They say, I don't think this is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really ain't got nothing to do with the women. And I feel bad for the women who went through that, but it ain't really got nothing to do with it. They pissed the higher ups off. Mm-hmm. And the thing about powerful people, when they piss off the guys, they can fall from grace hard.
Okay.
So, but regular people don't pick up on that. Influential people do.
Right.
We're the ones that speak out. We're the ones that call conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. That was my next question to you. I've seen that, you believe that most conspiracies are at least somewhat true or true. Yeah,
they throw it in our face in entertainment. Right. So they make it entertainment so we don't believe it. I believe the tabloids in the supermarket before I believe the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post. Right. The truth is in it, but they gotta make it unbelievable. But they can't lie to you. They're too smart to lie. Smart people don't lie. They tell you the truth in a bent kind of way. Mm-hmm. So that's how I see it. So the powerful people, they're the ones we see on the daily on the news. President Obama, Trump, Biden, all that. They don't run. They told what to do. Gotcha. You could tell it ain't them who's making the rules and everything. Right. It's even Bill Gates and what's the name that runs Amazon? They're powerful to us, but to the gods, they can fall from grace quick. Because all you got to do is say, all of a sudden they piss off somebody. The guys, they like, oh, you seen Warren Buffett messing with a girl and or sexually assaulted somebody.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Now you ain't got all that money he has. He can't get that, sweep that under the rug.
Right.
All that money Harvey Weinstein from owning Miramax, he can't sweep all that under the rug. He can't pay these women off.
Right.
Bill Cosby couldn't pay nobody off. And I think they would just mess with Bill Cosby, teach him a lesson. How they gonna send him to jail? Like, oops, we made a mistake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They mess with, they play games with us too. It's a sick cosmic game they play. Not with us, cause we're nothing to
Right.
But to the powerful people, they give them all. They give this to them.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say they don't have any talent, but you can't make it on talent alone. You gotta take allegiance to the gods.
What about a guy like Jay-Z? You know, over a lot of years.
He's playing the game.
Okay.
Now for now, Puffy's playing the game for now. Like they didn't piss anybody off. That's why they still doing what they doing. When they piss somebody off, you'll know about it. Oh, Jay-Z, touched some little kid, or they'll make up some story.
Right.
Then us regular people and influencers start believing it because they keep putting on the news. Repetition is, if you keep telling a lie, it eventually comes the truth.
Yeah.
So basically, Jay-Z didn't piss anybody off.
How'd you come into this information? Like just thinking that way about the
when I was on the ship, it was like a bunch of brothers. We got together in our own little corner, our spot, when reading books from Dr. York.
Okay.
And that's when I seen Leviathan, the first book I seen.
Oh, Leviathan,
yeah. So it's like, oh man, that's what opened my eyes. Because I was like, I'm not saying I hate this country, but back then as a kid, I was real patriotic until I seen all the garbage that goes in politics that goes on. So after that, my eyes started opening. Then I started, getting into this world and making up my own world. Oh, before I go on,
yes, sir.
The cover of my third book right here, The Time to Heal.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna explain this after I'm done. But I want everybody to look at the cover. Every cover of my book, is just telling the story. You don't even have to open the book. But I want you to read the book. But they're telling this. Every cover is telling the story.
Right. And
if you look at the third book, A Time to Heal, it's telling you what's going on right now. Because all three books are actually one book, but I broke it down in three. It's cliffhanger. It spans from Prohibition, the Volstead Act, all the way to now to the pandemic.
Okay.
So it's a family getting caught up. Well, they put themselves in it, and it's a Lassenberry family. The patriarch, Benny Lassenberry, he started out as a bootlegger, and back then in the Volstead era, and he came to the aid of a mafia captain who was getting attacked.
Right.
So after that, I had some people comment. They said, "Well, the mafia ain't gonna never make a black person in charge of drugs." Well, before the RICO Act, the mafia didn't touch drugs. That was taboo.
Right.
So that's where all the Frank Lucases and how they and all the other big time black Bumpy Johnsons. That's how they got big, because the mafia didn't want to be seen touching drugs. They do it through them.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And so he became head of the thing until his family grew, and one of his sons, Eddie, came more like greedy, and he's like, "Why are we working for these people? We should be working for ourselves."
Right.
And then at that time, after that, then another like a cabal called the National Agreement. They came into play. What they do, they're the gods. They've been watching this family for years flourish. And how they flourish is, one thing I notice in real life, how a lot of big time drug dealers mess up. They don't cooperate. They don't make the cops their partners. You can't go against. That's the biggest gang in the country, especially New York, NYC. Police department. That's the biggest gang in the country. You can't. I don't care if you're the mafia, Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings, whoever. You cannot beat them. That's why a lot of them fail. A lot of them go to jail, rat on each other. Witness protection, whatever. One thing I made, the Lassenberry family, they worked with the cops. They became partners with them. And the cabal called the National Agreement was watching this, and they said, "Oh, we can use these people to launder." What the National Agreement did was they infiltrated Wall Street, Hollywood, the military industrial complex, and Wall Street, Hollywood, the military industrial complex, and
Politics, no.
Politics, Washington D.C. They
Okay,
infiltrated. They got their people on the inside.
Right.
So they basically run the country behind the scenes, but they don't want to be noticed. And in order to not be the bad guy, you got to create a bad guy. So they remain the good guy. So what they did, they got all these drug dealers all around the country, from California to New York, wherever, and they made them broke them off sections. Say, you control this, you control that, you control that. You don't have to worry about law enforcement because you're with us. So after that, after the Lassenberries joined with them, they flourished doing that. But Eddie Lassenberry, the son of Benny, said, we want more. We don't want to be a slave to them or the mafia. So I don't know if y'all know about dredging, what dredging is.
I heard of it, though.
It's what they do to make artificial islands. They do it in the Emirates, the Arab Emirates. They make art, and China did it too, make artificial islands.
Okay.
So what he did was, behind the scenes, it was a 10-year project, a secret 10-year project Eddie did. He built an artificial island out off the east coast of South Africa and Madagascar. Nobody knew about this. But the thing is, he couldn't build on it because he ran out of funds. It was a big project. So, and he had a stroke. And what he believes in, like the monarchs believe in, of the European and African royalty, bloodline. Bloodline is real important. I figure the only way a human being lives on, because we're mortal, we're going to die one day.
It's bloodline.
Do your bloodline.
Yep.
And preferably the male. That keeps your bloodline strong.
Yep.
So he devised a plan to make his family go on. And they had this book, a binder called the BOI, the Book of Information. They call it a boy. So it's been in the family for a long time, and every generation writes down every crime, every person they're involved with, every underworld figure they're involved with. And one of his nephews was a point when Eddie had a stroke. I don't want to spoil too much, but when he had a stroke, he told his men to appoint his nephew to take charge. But his nephew, Mark, was not built for that life. He was a spoiled rich kid because what Eddie would do is give everybody in the family money.
Okay.
So they lived the life. They hadn't do drugs and nothing. They just living life. And Mark, he came across the book, and he was invited to one of the gatherings of the National Agreement. And what they do, I don't know if you heard, Eyes Wide Shut and all those parties, these elite parties. Well, this is like 10 times more disgusting and horrific. And he saw some things, and he had a nervous breakdown. So the deal, like basically the cabal is the devil. The Lassenberry family made a deal with the devil. And Eddie Lassenberry's deal was that only his bloodline could take over. So what happened after Mark had a nervous breakdown, they had to find another relative in the Lassenberry crew to take over. And they found another nephew. His name was Creighton. But he didn't like the name Creighton, so after he took over, he changed his name to Edward II, took over his uncle's name, changed, like the royal families do. So, he was ruthless like his uncle. So it's like, it involves incest, child pedophilia. The whole book, all 3 books is like no PC, not politically correct. It's like, I don't want kids reading this book. It's like it's like it has the N word, the F word, everything wrong with humanity is in these books. So it's a good read.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, that's really brilliant work to be able to even to think on a level that you're thinking, to connect the dots to this and that.
Yeah.
So take us back through, the process of writing the book. Like, how'd you start? Did you start like writing on an iPad, and then take us through the whole process of getting into here?
I started on what it was. Word type, not word processors.
Wow.
I don't even think they make them no more.
right.
But I started the Word, but I'm talking almost 15 years ago.
Okay.
Then I switched over. The first book was the House
of Lassenbery.
Right here.
Yeah.
When I first wrote that, I went up to 418 pages. Then I reread it.
Holy smoke.
And I rewrote it.
Damn.
And now it's 318 pages. It was 400 pages. Now it's 318 pages. I had to rewrite it. And that's when I said, let me break it down in 3 books.
Okay, so the first creation of the 400 some odd pages, and you broke it down into 300 are combined.
No, this is a book within itself. I had to break that. Was 400. It had nothing to do with these.
Shit.
And I rewrote the whole thing. So and then I shortened it down to 300. I said that's too much to read just for one book. And I came and I said, I had a cliffhanger. I said, let me get a cliffhanger because people like, oh, what's next?
Right.
So that's when the second book, 1970H, came in.
Right.
So
it's powerful.
And if you look at the cover, it's actually telling you the story of it was a battle between Mark and Edward II who was going to take over.
Right.
So that's why I put the question mark on the face.
Now, what's up with the like the imagery and the illustration? How did you come up with that concept? How was that even thought of and then created?
Oh man, just sitting and just a vision I had, man. I can't explain it. Right now as I'm talking, I don't even know how I wrote these books. I still can't. It's like something just happened. Right. Told me to write it. I had a vision with all three covers, and I took it to my artist Clark Stokely, and I did the concept and he did the design.
How easy was it for you to publish and get a publisher and get the whole book packaged together like we see, and then get it out to sell to the public?
Well, when you're independent, you can easily just pay. You got the money, do it. But the third one was a problem because it was so explicit. It was too much for the. It was too much for. I'm paying for this. It's my book. He said, no, you got. It's too raunchy. It's too much.
Okay.
Pull. She told me to publish it. Pull it back.
Okay.
Because I was talking about some sick stuff in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great, man, that you got accomplished this, because some people can't even do this in a lifetime.
Absolutely.
And do that. So how long was the process from you starting like your first page to actually publishing it? How long did it take you?
The first book or all three?
Just the first one.
Oh man, I did it like I can't give you a time because it was like an emotional thing. I didn't write just to be writing. I would leave it alone for a few days.
I got you.
If I felt something, then I write something. If I'm on the job, I would jot down some notes, and then I come home, then I write for it so I don't forget.
Right.
But it was an emotional thing for me. It wasn't like, oh, I gotta write a book. It's like certain parts made me feel angry. Certain parts I teared up as I'm writing.
Right.
Certain parts was funny to me.
Right.
And I'm sitting there cracking. I'm going crazy. I'm cracking myself up, typing it. I'm cracking up. I'm like tearing up because certain part I didn't want to write it.
Yeah.
I said this got to be written. And I'm like, my eyes watering up. Then the other part, I'm like, I feel like I'm gangster and I'm all tough and all that.
Right.
You got to feel it.
You become the characters in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, this is it's in my head right now. It's like you can't escape it. It's like a whole different world.
Would you say these characters are small depictions of you and who you are, and that's how it came out, or is it just straight up creativity? Like, this
is depiction of how I will besides the evil stuff, black families to be. Okay. I want us as black people to be more organized. We're the most unorganized people in this country. It's and a lot of it's due to slavery. We don't know who our ancestors are. And it's a lot of confusion. And I wanted a family that was strong in bloodline. They believed in that. And I took it to a place like arranged marriages, which I think we should go back to. But that's my personal opinion.
Gotcha.
Because if you base it on love, you can see it today in the world that most marriages end up in divorce because they think they're in love, or they, marriage is a business.
Oh yeah, it is.
If you put love into it, it's gonna collapse. If you stay married, you're gonna be miserable. But if it was arranged, like strong families get together and like say your son see another powerful podcaster over here who has a daughter. To make y'all stuff even more powerful, like your son married, it ain't got to do with love. It's making the families more powerful. Yeah, that's how I see it. That's what I put in the book. It's about business. It's about making the family powerful and stronger. It ain't about emotions and none of that.
How's the feedback been from the people who've been buying the book? How's that been? Like the reviews you've been getting from people?
I can tell the reviews that the ones, like I told you before, the one guy said, I can't believe ain't nobody can believe a black family,
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
You can tell he ain't read the book.
Right.
He's just picking off the summary.
Right.
But the ones who read it, like, yo.
That's dope.
Yo, one of my boys at work, he came up and hugged me. When I came to work, he's like, "Yo, man, can't wait for the next one." That's when I wrote the second one.
Dope.
So
That's
so it was like, I haven't got any bad reviews except
Good.
people that I can tell the people that haven't read it.
The little critics here and there.
Yeah,
Sit
yeah.
back and
Yeah.
discount your work. But let the people know where they can find the books, man. I know you got it on Archway Publishing, but get the people all the information on how to grab these great series of books, bro.
Archway Publishing, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere books are sold. I got stuff selling in Russia, South Korea, Australia, UK.
Nice.
Yeah, so
To the person that's not tech savvy and they don't even know how to spell Archway, they go on Google and they type in what and how will you get pulled
Archway
up?
Publishing, ARCHWAY Publishing.com. So
Gotcha.
that's my main connection. That's my publishing company. But you can go to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Shula Books, anyway. Walmart selling my books.
Go. Locally or nationwide?
Nationwide.
Beautiful.
They got the online. Everything's online, but you can't go in the bookstore. I don't even know if bookstore's still open now.
It's a couple.
Yeah.
I think it's
A little bit,
a couple, yeah.
But I don't think it's not on the shelf. You got to order it.
Okay, that's
So
cool. You go on
get-
Walmart.com.
You get the ebook, which is $3.99, or the actual books. The first one's $20, the second one's $12, and the third one's $18.
Who's no ebook? So you don't have one audio book? No audio.
No,
ebook.
I'm not. See, what I want to do is I want to hire some people to do actual voices.
Dope.
So that's going to take some time.
Dope.
Appreciate it.
We definitely appreciate your time. The good brother Daniel Webb on the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. It's
Yes.
a beautiful afternoon. You see the series of books we have right here: the House of Lassenbery, the
Yeah.
House of Lassenbery 1978, and the House of Lassenbery: A Time to Heal. Man, definitely appreciate this, brother.
And I want to make one point before I leave about the third book.
Please
the cover.
do your thing.
Now, this book pertains to what's going on right now.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Okay.
if I'm gonna use y'all as example,
Mm-hmm.
if you got an illness,
Right.
I guess I can't say the word. I want to get y'all in trouble. If you have an illness, a serious illness, your cousin, he has a cure, and he said he has a cure to cure you 100%. All right, and you're kind of skeptical about it. Like, I don't know, has it been tested? He tell you, I just came up with a cure.
Right.
I could give it to you.
Right.
Now, your cousin love you enough. He's not going to ask you for your permission to cure you, or even if he cures you, before he tries to cure you, he's make you sign a disclaimer because he's not sure
Right.
what he's giving you.
Right.
If you look at that cover, the Lassenberry family has found a cure.
Okay.
And what's going on today is if the gods cared about humanity, we wouldn't be going through what we're going through now. There wouldn't be a split down the middle
Right. Right.
of what's going on right now.
Right.
You would.
Understood.
We got chemtrails. We can spread smoke in the air. Whatever's in there, we can spread a cure in the air. We don't need to ask people's permission or make them sign a disclaimer so we wouldn't be held accountable. Because if you tell me, we say, "Oh, this is gonna save your life," but before you do that, sign this.
Yeah,
You
that's a
signed
good
it.
point. Man.
Because now you're covering your butt as a side effect.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, so that's why there's a big divide in this country around the world about what's going on. So that book explains what should be done instead of what they want us to do.
When did you write that book? When was this book published? The last one?
In January.
This year?
Yeah.
Dope.
So I was like, and I had to cover before this whole pandemic thing went down. I had the cover already made up, but it's like, oh, this thing happened. I'm like, oh, it just fit in with what's going on. So basically, what I'm saying is, the gods, they want to help us. They want to cure us. I don't need to sign a form. I don't need them to act or spend millions of dollars on advertisements to convince me for the cure.
Exposing people's true colors on the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast.
Yeah.
Brother Daniel Webb.
Yes,
author
yes,
of the
yes,
House
yes.
of Lassenbery. Give your final remarks, brother. Let them know where they can find you. And once again, before we get out of here, please let them know where they can find the books.
Archway Publishing, ARCHWAY Publishing.com, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere, Walmart, anywhere books are sold. You get the ebook for $3.99. I'm up in East Orange area, Bloomfield, New Jersey area. That's where the post office I work at, Bloomfield, New Jersey. Cool. If you see me and you want the book signed, I'll be glad to stop and sign. I've been doing it for the longest now. Dope. Yeah.
Let them know the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast sent you, man, as you sign in books.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get you a lot more books in the building. Thank you very much for your time, man. Definitely appreciate you. Appreciate your work.
Yes,
Just
sir.
appreciate your contribution to the
And I
culture,
want to
bro.
say one thing. Just remember, y'all, if the gods want to cure us, they could cure us. They don't need our permission.
Exposing the truth here on the Hip Hop Lassenbery
Yeah.
podcast. Sandman, oh God, good brother Daniel Webb. We
Appreciate
appreciate your time.
Peace.
Over and out.
Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip
Bars is back.
hip hop,
Sam
hip
and
hop,
oh God,
hop,
what's
hip
up with you?
hop.
I done watched them niggas do interview after interview. They not culture vultures, the culture something they been into. So if you never gave them a view, I recommend you do. Cause when they question guests, they message is not subliminal. It don't matter if you a rookie.